Creo Parametric 4.0, Lesson 16, Part 2. Here we're going to document our 3D model, showing all the annotation for its manufacturing. We are going to start off by putting in a note. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this version of it. And I'll go back to where we were when we were working on the spring itself. And basically what we want to do is, I think we'll start off a little bit differently than the book. We're going to just move our model around a little bit to however we want it to look. We can change this. It's not a big deal. And we're going to go to our reorient and type in a new name. So we'll put it on it. We'll call it annotation and save it. It becomes part of the list here. Another way to do that would be to go to our view manager and orient. And you can see this is automatically here at this point. If we change this just a little bit, in any way, it'll put a little plus sign, which means it's been changed. We want to save it at that point usually. So we've got our new view. Again, we can move it around. It's not a big deal. We can always change the view back or into something that we want. Now we're going to go to our Annotate tab, click on Flat to Screen and set it. And also make sure that our model tree has everything displayed. I've previously done this when we were working on the spring itself, but always check. So we've got some area here that we're going to put a note into. We can put an annotation feature or a note. We're going to start with a note. Unattached, flat to screen, and I was hoping to be able to cheat here, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. And I got it. All right, so I had previously put that on my clipboard. So you're going to type all that in, obviously. You can go to the text style here and make changes. We'll just make the size change. Or you can do that up in the dashboard here, up in the ribbon, I should say. And let's change it to 5. And you can move it around and take a look at some of the options that you have. Whenever you have a pop-up, let's see what you can do from that. And it'll give you a little bit more knowledge every time you work on the system. You're not going to always get everything from a book or from a video. You're going to have to try it on your own, try to look a little bit deeper into the command structure and the options, especially with the right mouse button. All right, so we have that accomplished. We want to go back and click on this. You can see the note is highlighted both in the model tree and in the detail tree here. And we are going to add a link to it. And I did bring up that company's web page, which is the American Precision Spring. And I'll copy that link. And screen tip, we'll just put in AMSP. Okay. Now, when I put my cursor over there, you'll see that it gives you the screen tip at any either here or here. It doesn't make any difference where you do it. You can open the URL. And if it doesn't open up right away, check to see what it says up here. You may want to remove this last portion. If it comes up, that's fine. You can put it in a, obviously you can open it up in another browser also. So our screen tip is done. Our link is okay. And I'm going to close this out. And the next thing we're going to do is take a look at, again, we covered it in the book where you have to look at different things, try some of the different options that are there. Now, model-based definition, this is a very big thing in industry right now. It's to be able to use your model as for all your information rather than having to do a detailed drawing. Now they're making a big deal out of it, but obviously if you have a very complex part, this is not going to be really realistic. But for smaller parts and for documenting things that you want to do quickly, This works out very good. So we've already set our view. This is one of the things that's covered in here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to show all of our annotations. So I'm going to select all the features of the part, right mouse button, and show annotations. And they're going to pop up on the screen there, like so. Now, I'm going to keep all of them for now. There isn't anything else we want to show on that. And again, I'm going to move this around, and I'm going to see what I need or don't need. I don't need this. This was just for the cut on the top, so I will erase that one. If it's a design dimension, it won't let you delete it, by the way. You're just going to erase it. We don't need those. And we have 240 here, and we have 240 here. I'm going to erase one of those, like so. Now the other thing you can do is you can move your dimensions around a little bit. And we're going to alter some of them. We are going to put on some notes for them. So we're going to change them. We can also change the plane on which they are displayed. So for instance, we've got this one right here. And if we say move to plane, maybe let's move it to that plane there. And you'll see you now have a little bit better situation with it. So that note came up automatically. Now, we want to put some other ones on here. One we want to put pitch diameter. So if we click on it and right mouse button, again, take a look at all the things that are available, text, style, etc. And then this little dimension text pops up. And we want to have, in this particular case, pitch diameter. I'm going to remember to put a space in there. You can see it automatically displays. So we added a note to that. And the next thing we want to try to do is add some tolerancing. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go over to this one here, and we're going to use it to add our tolerance. But we're going to do it with an annotation feature. So I'm going to click Annotation Feature here, and then select Geometric Tolerance. And you can see it, and I can go over there and I can just, this is new for 4.0, I can just go over there and simply select here. Now, that's not what I really want, so I go over and I go to the ribbon, and I want this to be, let's say, parallel. And let's say I want to have datum A added to it. Left mouse button, and then OK. So I added my tolerance. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. Now, the next thing I want to do is add a machine finish mark. So I'm going to go down and take a look a little bit here. And what I want to do is I want to have it on the top and on the bottom. So I'm going to click Annotation Feature again. I'm going to keep these two annotation features separate. And I'm going to click on Surface Finish and go to Machined, Standard. And it's going to want to know what surface or reference, and I'm going to click right here. Now I'm going to click inside this area here, and when I do, my surface symbol changes on my cursor, and I'm going to click right there, and OK. Now I'm going to add another one to the other side. Well, before I do that, I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to double click on this. 32, you see you can change that. want to be able to select it and see what my options are. Textile. Let's say 5. Apply. Okay, so it did make it bigger. It's a little hard to see. There it is. That moved off my plane also. That's not good. So I want to take a look at that and see why it did it. Should have stuck to the plane here, but I think I double clicked. And let's see if I can, it says I can erase it, but I can't delete it. So it's one of the things I'm not quite sure of why it moved, besides maybe I picked 2 separate times. So in my annotation here, I'm going to delete the whole annotation, and I'm going to do it again. Be a little more careful with my selection process. Maybe blow it up more. Okay, so again, annotation feature, we're going to go into machine. It's going to keep the same one as before, so I don't have to go select that again. And my model reference is here, and I want it to be positioned. I think I know what's going on. Let's go and make it front and see if that makes a difference. No, it didn't. It moved it out. It's kind of interesting. I'm getting a free here, and I'm not quite sure why it does that automatically sometimes. But if we look at our other one, let's cancel this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my other one that I have and take a look at it. And you'll see that it's on my surface here. So the only difference between this and the other model is that we've included already the surface feature, and you see how it's attached to this particular point. So I'm going to go down here, turn my thing, and again, now to annotate annotation feature, I'm going to select the surface feature, and now it's popping up as normal to entity, and that's what I was looking at. I wanted to be able to pick this and then pick where it's going to go, and now it's all right. You have to hit your middle mouse button. It's kind of disconcerting because you don't know why it won't give you the command. I'm going to click OK here. And let's see if I can put another one on the top. Normal to entity is now coming up. And pick right here. Middle mouse button, OK. And OK again. So we now have model definition of the part. And I will close the completed one out, and we'll take a look at it. And again, here's where you do a little bit of your tweaking, a little bit of your moving. You can change your sizes of your text if you want, whatever you need to do. You can move things around. This one here, I like to put a little bit of a space afterwards. So I wanted to pitch 40. I don't know why they don't have a space in it, but I wanted to add that. And again, I get the view that I want, and then I go back up into my view manager, and I can see my annotation view has changed. So I want to save it again. Now, you could do work on the project. Doesn't mean anything has changed here. So let's go into standard orientation. Let's go into left. So you can get it a variety of ways, but this is now available as a named view. And you could put that on a drawing if you wanted also, and use that particular view. Now, last thing I want to do here is go back over to the Model tab, and I'm going to turn off annotations, my spin center, and I think I'm also going to go and I'm going to click on my Datum features here, and I'm going to hide them. So I just have a model, nothing else. And I'm going to go over to Applications and Photo Rendering and let it render the object. And I want to go back over to Screen here. And let's see, let's just pick another version. The one that's active is right here. Let's pick this one. Render it again. Didn't change much. Let's go over to my scenes and let's select Edit Scene and Lights. That's it. I had to have my lights changed. Okay. So there's my view. Now let's say I wanted to add another light, a new spotlight. And let's change the color of that one. Okay. And add a distance light. I know this is ugly, but at least gives you an idea. You can show light here too. You can show all the different lights that are going to be applied. We got one here, here, and here. Close. And there's your rendered object. You can render it again. See if it comes up any clearer. You can change the quality of it, obviously. And there's my model. So you can fool around with this, but hopefully not too long unless you're doing some sort of technical illustration or advertising. Let's go back over to our model. And you'll see some of this is retained. And let's repaint. And let's go to Annotation. And let's turn on our annotations. And you have your model. That concludes lesson 16.